Hello, good morning. Do we have Alyssa? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning.
And Valeria, good morning.
Morning.
Hello, Emma, good morning.
Morning.
Very good to see you all. We were just debating how many people would join this early morning, well, early, not too early, but morning slot for Europe, and perhaps some of our Asian colleagues will be joining in that evening, but we'll allow a little bit more time for people to join before we get started. Can I just check you can see the screen okay with the workstream showcase title? Thank you.
Yes.
Morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
Just going to give it 1 or 2 minutes. We probably have a few people grabbing a coffee and about to join. Hello, Lynn. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, it's a couple of minutes past, so for those who have already joined, we'll make a start and make sure that we do fit everything in today. So welcome, good morning, good evening to you all. Very good to see you on the call today. So welcome to BioPhorum Drug Substance. We can show you the rough plan for this session, so a bit of an overview. I'm going to just give you a very quick introduction and welcome to Drug Substance. If you have not been part of our forum and BioPhorum previously, and then I will hand over to my colleagues, Caroline, who is going to tell us all about the post-approval strategies team, Louisa, who is then going to talk us through the single-use systems program, and then finally it will be over to Sean, who is going to tell us about the human performance community of practice. So welcome to BioPhorum Drug Substance. So if you haven't come across BioPhorum previously, we know that we get a really nice mix of people joining the showcase sessions. BioPhorum is a unique collaboration for the biopharmaceutical industry where we bring together teams of SMEs to solve some of our biggest challenges. We are organised in BioPhorum into different forums dedicated to different areas of the industry. These sessions today will be presented from the Drug Substance Forum. So Drug Substance is actually the oldest forum in BioPhorum. And our mission is really to bring together leaders and SMEs from drug substance to improve drug substance operations. So you can see the little slide that is in the corner of the screen here. And we are all about inspiring faster adoption of technologies, shaping regulatory landscape, so important to us, increasing process efficiency, asset utilization, and having confidence in retaining license to operate. And we are home to many of the biggest players in the pharma industry, and we have long established communities of SMEs. So for today's session, it really is just a high-level introduction for some of our work streams. We will share these slides afterwards, and all of the team that are here on the call today are here to support you. So if you have any follow-ups, any questions after the call, please do just get in touch. But also, we're quite a small group. These are intended to be informal, so please feel free to pop your hand up, pop questions in the chat. We will be very happy to discuss. Take a look on the next slide. So we've just included this slide to give you a little bit more information on how it works. So how do you get involved in BioPhorum? And I think the really nice answer to that is there isn't only one way. So we put together this slide to describe the different ways actually that SMEs do get involved. And the number one there is it's really all about starting at your own pace. So BioPhorum is a fantastic place to, in the first instance, develop. So for any SMEs that are coming in relatively new to their organisation, don't have so much experience in the specific area, well, actually BioPhorum is a great place to join a team of SMEs that have tens of years experience in the industry, learn from them and also challenge them. So start at your pace and use it for development, and then we can work our way round here, but hopefully SMEs will progress to bringing their own challenges into BioPhorum and discussing with the teams, take value back that way, get input. If you are writing a new procedure or you have a particular scenario or debate going on internally that you would like input, you're also in BioPhorum able to represent your organisation. So anyone who is involved at any level within BioPhorum can influence the programme and help drive change where it matters for you in your organisation. And then we very much hope, moving round to point 4 here, that you will go that step further again and contribute within BioPhorum teams. So you can get involved in the best way for you. So this can be from small sharing of ideas, presenting case studies, through to joining our authoring teams to produce one of our many deliverables, publications, tools to help in the industry. And then taking that further still, we actually have our SMEs in many cases representing BioPhorum, so getting our message, our industry positions out into the conferences and being able to align as one voice as the industry and help influence regulators, which is so key for us in biopharma. And then finally, if I talk to any of the facilitators about like what's important for you and how your teams function, they always say, oh, well, we need to have fun. And as trivial as it sounds, it's important because this is how we create that winning team environment. We do have, this is a safe space. This is, it's out of your day-to-day job, and you get to be part of a team where you can have fun. Very respectful, safe environment, and it's the place where we can hopefully challenge one another, be bold, and think differently. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sense of the many ways that you can get involved. And we will just take a look on the next slide at our programme in drug substance, and highlight where we are going to look today. So you can see we have a good number of different teams, different initiatives that are currently active in the drug substance forum. The work streams we are going to focus in on today are highlighted here in the orange colour. We have post-approval strategy, single-use systems, and then in the communities of practice, which we will come on to, human performance. So without taking up any more time, it's my pleasure to hand over to my colleague Caroline, who is going to introduce post-approval strategies. Morning, Caroline.
Morning, everyone. Thank you, Nicola. So I'm here today, everyone, to talk about the post-approval strategy workstream that sits within drug substance. So the workstream is based with a group of regulatory experts, and some of those have global roles. Some of those individuals have local roles, so they are based in the country that they are focused on. The primary aim of the team is driving harmonisation and regulatory convergence. And at the minute, the team have a national approach, and we have 2 active incentives, and that is in China and the Latin America region. Previously, we have had additional country-specific sub-teams. We had South Korea, we had a Russia team, a Brazil-specific team, and also a Colombia-specific team. So the Brazil and Colombia, they are merged now in the LATAM team because we've no active incentives in those countries. We're focusing on the wider region, and I'll give you a wee bit more in-depth detail into what we're doing in both of those sub-teams in a minute. We are striving towards common post-approval strategy supplements and notifications to agencies. Those of you on the call today who are regulatory focused will understand how complex it is, how difficult it can be, and also how frustrating it can be with the different requirements across the globe. Some agencies have significant backlogs, creating huge timelines, and there's nothing you can do kind of about that. We just have to wait for the approval. Other agencies have, some people would say, ridiculous requirements with regards to sampling, and they require you to go above and beyond, and that requires a lot of extra cost for yourselves and also resource and asset time as well to manufacture those additional batches and get those released. So here's a more in-depth overview of the team. So we have the full post-approval strategy workstream. This team meets monthly. We focus on updates from the 2 sub-teams. We have live Ask BioPhorum questions. And we also have guests coming along from other forums. So there's quite a bit of regulatory activity ongoing across BioPhorum as a whole. And our team are very interested to hear that. So every now and again, we would bring someone across to present. At this month's call, we actually had the Reg CMC team discussing their platform paper. Just a little bit on Ask BioPhorum. We won't delve into it in too much detail today. Ask BioPhorum is basically a platform where you can raise any type of question that you would like, and it gets shared across the workstream that you've raised it in. So if it comes across to post-approval strategy, I will share it with the post-approval strategy team. But also we take a look at your question and we would say, actually, the RegX team could be quite helpful here, so we'll pop it across. Those can be shared direct by yourself, or these can also be shared anonymously, where SMEs just email them across to me and I will post saying a biomanufacturer has asked. So on the workstream calls, we would frequently pop up the Ask BioPhorum on the hub and take a look at what has been raised recently, review the responses and see if there's anything else we can add to it. And that Ask BioPhorum also happens in more detail on the sub-teams. So both sub-teams meet monthly and they focus on the country-specific updates. However, they also work on deliverables. So the China sub-team are working on a white paper at the minute, looking at import product specification and drug registration testing for China. And that's kind of where I mentioned earlier on, those additional requirements, huge pain points, huge time, effort, money for industry, trying to get the drugs imported there into China. And it's very frustrating. And often what our SMEs find is that requirements aren't consistent And through the Ask BioPhorum platform, we've actually identified that recently. So what their white paper is going to do is combine almost the challenges and make some recommendations. Those of you who are familiar with the Chinese regulators will understand how difficult they are to work direct with. So this is our way of showcasing the pain points. And I will show you in a second some of the previous deliverables from the team that have also done this. The LATAM team, exact same format, and their deliverable at the minute is working on a virtual event, which we will go through in the next slide. This team also present to each other key messages, and we support the local industry. So very different from China. In this team, we do work direct with the agencies. So this is focused on the LATAM region, and this is how the goal that our team strive to achieve. We want to work with local affiliates, local trade organisations, and also support the regulators. We do have unstable political climates, and that can make things fractured at times, and that's why it's important to retain this communication pathway where there are other channels to explore should a pathway become broken. We want to give regulators confidence that they can approach BioPhorum when they are making a revision. We want them to understand that it is the most streamlined, straightforward way for them to collect industry feedback and support and see what change they really need. Looking at the China deliverables that I mentioned there previously, we have a poster, and what this poster did was China CMC regulations. There was a significant amount of change in 2022, and it was very hard for industry to actually break this down and understand what those changes actually meant for them. So the team collated a poster into what's changing and what's not changing, and that made life a lot easier for themselves and their regulatory departments. The poster caught the eye of Merck KGaA Group. They were delivering a conference, which they do annually, and Merck invited us along to present. And the audience at this was RDPAC. So it was fantastic to be invited along to that. And as you can see here, there was over 10,000 views at the conference. So Mei Chai from AbbVie, she presented the poster on behalf of the group, and we received excellent feedback. So it was a fantastic way of getting the message across from BioPhorum as to how complicated the changes are, but how we have simplified them to make them more understandable. Other previous successes include Brazil. BioPhorum supported Anvisa as they implemented post-approval change their guidelines as they updated them. They wanted to promote a harmonisation to the World Health Organization and the ICH, and they have actually documented their journey. It is linked in here, and it will be shared post-meeting, but the team has documented their journey, and that is available for anyone to download and take a look. And what we've hoped by showcasing this is that other industry, other regulators will see how BioPhorum have supported the change. Colombia, the support is still ongoing. They have revised their guidelines now. The journey took over 4 years, but you can see here the significant difference in the timelines. Colombia still have quite a bit of a backlog at the minute, so we haven't revised the timelines to see post-guideline revision where things are sitting at, but we do have the virtual event, and this is the really exciting thing that the team are working on at the minute. The virtual event is a 3-session event running across the 8th and 9th of October. So session 1 is the LATAM focused session, and that's where we're really in here. We're really going to showcase Colombia. I couldn't give you a preview of it today because we don't want to take away from the audience, but those slides will be available and we can share them with attendees then so you can see fully our journey in Colombia if you can't attend the event. Also, what we're going to be doing here is we have a group of subject matter experts and we are going to be coming together in a workshop. And that workshop is going to look at the pain points across the region. What barriers do you see preventing harmonisation? How can we get there? We really strive for reliance. How is it actually going to be achievable? What support do regulators, affiliates, and local trade bodies need to get there? And that'll be session 1. Session 2 then will actually look at reliance, and it'll be a fantastic showcase from industry on the pilots that they are running, and that will be led by our Reg CMC department. The presenters are going to come together into a panel discussion, and that will be led by BioPhorum, and we welcome Q&As to be submitted on the day. But indeed, if you can't make the event and you have a question with regards to any of the ongoing Reliance pilots, you can of course submit them to me prior to the event. The third session is joint between Reg CMC and DS. Both teams have ongoing activities with regards to implementing the quality by design approach and the registration of raw materials. So this event will have a showcase at the start, a case study from ongoing activity between Sanofi and Eli Lilly will also be present there. And we'll also then go into a workshop, and that'll be a similar format where we have some SMEs, some BioPhorum facilitators there, and we will discuss the barriers that are presenting with regards to the implementation of the critical material attributes. The session will close out with looking into the future. What type of tools do we see on the horizon, and where do we see post-approval change going? The registration link has just been popped in the chat there, and it is also linked within the pack. I'll not delve into too much details. I've kind of talked through it here, but the draft agenda is included within today's slides also. If you have any questions on the event, please do reach out to me. And indeed, if you are interested in hearing more about the post-approval strategy team and the ongoing work, my email is here, so feel free to reach out to me. Keep your eyes peeled for the China publication, which hopefully will be coming your way within the next 6 weeks or so. So it's very, very busy, active time in the post-approval strategy team. And thank you to all my SMEs on the team. They're fantastic. We'd be lost without them. Does anyone have any questions for me today? No? Excellent. Thank you very much for your time. I will pass you over to Louisa.
Thank you, Caroline. Let me just grab the screen. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes, thank you, Louisa.
Perfect, thank you. So good morning, everyone. Lovely to see you all. So I'm Louisa Mitchell. I'm the facilitator of the Single-Use Systems Programme in BioPhorum, and that encompasses work streams and activities all related to ensuring a resilient supply chain and compliant qualification and application of single-use technologies in our biopharma industry. So our programme provides a unique space for suppliers and end users of single-use technologies to collaborate and address current industry challenges and opportunities. And today I'm going to share an overview of the past, current and future programme, which is all overseen by our Single-Use Technologies Expert Committee. So the programme is actually a joint effort between our drug substance and supply resilience forums, and we have members of both forums in our work streams. Our Single-Use Technologies Expert Committee and Single-Use Systems Joint Leadership Team work in partnership with our forum leadership teams to provide oversight, strategic guidance and governance of our programme and ensure that the work streams are appropriately resourced. This slide just gives you an overview of the current SUS programme, and I'm going to delve into that in a little bit more detail today. So as I mentioned, the programme is overseen by our SUT Expert Committee and SUS JLT. They were established in 2015 to oversee a 5-year single-use systems plan. And the core objective of that plan was to attain equivalent or better working knowledge and application of single-use technologies as we have for stainless steel. And that original plan has essentially been delivered, but the team are still active today to address new challenges and opportunities as our industry matures and the uptake and development of single-use technologies continues to grow. So the expert committee are a community of over 120 experts in the design, qualification, supply and application of SUS across the biopharma industry. We've got a huge breadth of knowledge, expertise and professional functions within that team. We have representation from both suppliers and end users, and this team are providing thought leadership on industry challenges and opportunities, and they're also providing support, direction and resources to the work streams in the programme. And of course, all of our activities are underpinned by the strategic frameworks that exist for both our supply resilience and drug substance forums. Many of our members are also active in other industry organisations and agencies. So the team are also tasked with driving promotion and adoption of the deliverables that come out of the SUS programme across their internal and external networks. So a sub-team of the SUT Expert Committee, the SUS Joint Leadership Team, they are providing strategic direction, project prioritisation and pathfinder execution. And that's really to ensure that the programme is addressing the most critical needs of the industry in relation to our ever-evolving landscape, where SUS are being widely used from discovery to process development through to commercial scale production. As I mentioned, the Single-Use Systems Programme was established in 2015 to oversee the original SUS plan, and by 2021 that had essentially been delivered. So in 2022, the team established a refreshed mission to be the industry's collaborative group to establish best practices and influence standards for agile single-use technologies utilisation, And we have a vision where the future of a future where single-use technologies bring therapeutics to patients quickly, safely, sustainably, and responsibly. And this vision and mission underpins everything we do in the programme. But all of our activities, as I mentioned, are centred around ensuring a resilient supply chain and compliant qualification and application of single-use systems across the biopharma value chain. So having been in place since 2015, we've got an extensive back catalogue of publications. There's been an enormous amount of publications. Some of them are highlighted in this slide here. These and many, many more related publications are freely downloadable from BioPhorum.com. You can see that the outputs so far cover a range of different topics in the supply, qualification and application of SUS. And the thousands of downloads just gives you an indication of the value of these deliverables to the industry. But of course, our industry continues to evolve and adapt as we get better knowledge and understanding of SUS materials and applications alongside technological advances in single-use technologies. So one of our key objectives is to ensure that these publications are still relevant and are aligned with current industry regulations and guidelines. And a great example of that is our single-use user requirement specification, which one of our teams is currently updating to ensure alignment with Annex 1, with BPSA quality test matrices and other industry regulations. And I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later in this presentation. So more recent publications from the SUS programme focus on emerging industry topics and supply chain resilience risks, such as introduction of X-ray sterilisation of SUS. So as demand for SUS continues to grow and gamma capacity becomes more constrained, suppliers have started notifying their customers that X-ray will be introduced as an additional sterilisation technology for SUS. So the ultimate goal is for the industry to accept either X-ray or gamma interchangeably. And to that point, BioPhorum members have produced an excellent guidance paper and toolkit with a supporting video on how to evaluate, categorise and mitigate the risks associated with X-ray introduction. We also recently hosted a webinar detailing the journey to acceptance so far and the critical actions that the industry needs to take to fully adopt the change. Continuing on the theme of supply chain resilience, our design harmonisation workstream recently published a paper which discusses the benefits and challenges of SUS design standardisation, and that's from a biomanufacturer's perspective. This paper provides suggested solutions to help drive standardisation within your networks and introduces the concept of central design authorities, and it really is an excellent and informative read. We also had a team of experts from our drug substance, supply resilience, fill finish and sustainability forums come together to submit a rapid response to the European Chemical Agency's proposal to ban the import and use of PFAS materials. Now, PFAS materials are widely used in the manufacture, supply and delivery of biopharmaceuticals, and the proposed ban would have a critical impact on the supply of drugs to patients. As well as submitting their response to ECHA, this team also met with the European Commission on this topic. They have also submitted responses to requests from the states of Maine and Minnesota, who requested more information on the currently unavoidable uses of PFAS as they develop their own legislation. And this topic also provided an opportunity for BioPhorum to establish links with other industry bodies to make sure we're aligned on our responses to changes in regulations for critical materials. And this work is being continued in our Materials of Concern workstream, which is currently facilitated by my colleague Vicky Mwanza. So BioPhorum also continued to support the pathway to acceptance of X-ray sterilisation by hosting additional initiatives. We had a presentation recently from one of our suppliers who demonstrated a cell painting assay, which was used to further demonstrate equivalence of X-ray and gamma. We also held a recent joint meeting with BPSA, where we heard the latest feedback from regulatory agencies on the topic of X-ray introduction. So lots and lots of activities happening currently. So we've seen a snapshot of deliverables from the original 5-year plan and more recent activities. I'd like to just delve a little bit deeper into current in-flight work streams in our programme. So again, on the topic of X-ray sterilisation, we have a team of suppliers and biomanufacturers who are designing and executing a one-time cell culture study. And that's to confirm that X-ray irradiation of SUS has no cytotoxic effects when compared to gamma. So we plan on testing a matrix of SUS materials with a number of different sensitive cell lines. And the aim of this study is to support the existing data that demonstrates equivalency from a material compatibility and physics and chemistry perspective. So the team have written their bioassay protocol and are currently working through some challenges around the coordination of procurement, irradiation, distribution and testing of the X-ray materials when directly compared to gamma controls. Our interchangeable parts workstream are a team of biomanufacturers and suppliers, again working together to publish a best practice guide on interchangeability of components within an assembly. The team have developed industry-aligned definitions and categories of interchangeability, and that's really to facilitate two-way communication between suppliers and end users. And the team are currently in the process of finalising their paper, which will set out an evaluation methodology and will include examples of interchangeability and case studies. And excitingly, we are also currently exploring an opportunity to convert the deliverable, content of this deliverable, into a new standard. So what next for the programme, and how do we plan on continuing to realise our vision and mission? So the SUS Joint Leadership Team met face-to-face earlier this year to further develop the BioPhorum SUS programme and to propose a forward-facing plan. As you heard, work streams and activities were already underway to address introduction of X-ray and to mitigate impact of supply chain shortages through interchangeability. However, it is recognised that the regulatory landscape is facing some significant evolution, So we had implementation of Annex 1 in 2023. We have some new standards pending for particulates. USP 87 and 88 have been updated, and there's planned implementation of USP 665 and 383 coming up in the next few years. So the Joint Leadership Team's proposal was to focus in the near term on shaping and understanding the regulatory landscape, and we've launched a few new topics accordingly. And our longer term outlook will really be to focus on developing strategies for adoption and implementation, particularly with respect to new modalities. And we'll continue to work on this plan in the coming years. So in order to execute quickly on our near-term plan, a revised structure was put in place for our SUT Expert Committee. We now have a core team who meet quarterly to get updates on the overall SUS programme and any related BioPhorum activities. We share industry trends, challenges and opportunities, and we also share any pending publications that the team members can be involved in technically reviewing. We also provide opportunities for cross-forum discussions to support application of SUS outside of supply resilience and drug substance. And the expert committee currently have 2 sub-teams, each tasked with delivering solutions to current industry trends or in response to changing regulations. And I'll talk about those in a little bit more detail now. So the first sub-team, which is the SUS Joint Leadership Team, they continue to provide strategic guidance to the SUS programme. But I've also identified 3 new topics aligned with our near-term goal. So with a view to publishing industry position papers in early 2025, the teams, which have members from our SUT Expert Committee and also our extractables and leachables community of practice teams, they are currently scoping and defining the content of their papers, which focus on the current practice of single-use assembly sterilisation, and will cover what the claims and certificates and validation guides require and what they mean for both suppliers and end users. Our particulates team are looking at particulate control, including suppliers and end users' risk management programs. And in preparation for implementation of USP 665 and other pending changes to standards, we have a team looking at industry alignment on extractables and leachable standards and the regulatory landscape and best practices enabling biopharma manufacturing. Our second sub-team are currently reviewing, updating and simplifying the previously mentioned deliverable, the single-use user requirement specification. Their planned deliverable is a simplified URS with reduced numbers of inputs, which will also align with Annex 1 requirements, BPSA quality test matrices, and any other current industry standard requirements. It will be prioritised for assembly specifications rather than component requirements, and will really ensure that all of the inputs to the URS directly correlate to a compliance requirement or have a direct impact on the SUS design, performance, and qualification. So that's what's happening at the moment in the programme. But also, in addition to the established work streams focused on delivering solutions to specific topics, our SUT Expert Committee and Extractables and Leachables Community of Practice also collaboratively discuss pending changes, such as industry readiness for USP 383 and ICHQ 3E. And we're also participating in discussions and initiatives with other forums, such as sustainability, ATMP, and Annex 1 in drug substance. We absolutely welcome any requests to discuss SUS-related topics at our quarterly meetings, and we'd love to hear from anyone who has implemented any of our deliverables or have a case study or lessons learned to share with us. And on that topic, I've launched a quick poll. So if there are any topics that we are not currently addressing that you think are really important for the SUS programme to address in future, please take a few moments just to complete this poll, let us know of any topics that you would like to suggest, and also if you have any case studies or lessons learned that you would like to share with us, there's also a section for you to answer in this poll too. So thank you for taking time to listen to our showcase today. I hope I've given you a taste of the valuable body of work already produced and being produced by our Single-Use Systems programme. Of course, none of this would be possible without the passion, inspiration and commitment of our team of experts. They continue to contribute to the programme in many, many ways. So I just wanted to close this section out by saying a huge thank you to all of them. And again, if you think there's an important SUS-related topic we're not covering, please do complete our poll, and any feedback you can give us is very much appreciated. So yeah, if you would like to hear any more about anything that I talked about in the programme today, or would like to participate in any of the work streams, please reach out directly to me, louisa.mitchell@bioforum.com, and I'd happy to have a chat about anything you'd like to talk about. Thank you. So I shall hand over to my colleague, Sean. Sean, are you good to go?
Yep, let's grab the screen for you now.
Perfect.
Okay, there we go. All right, so hello everyone. Thank you all for joining today. So as says here, my name is Sean Collins. I'm the facilitator in charge of the Human Performance Community of Practice. We're going to talk to you briefly about this today. So the main difference here, there's a community of practice within BioPhorum. It is not a work stream, which is what the first we discussed before are. And then I'll explain the differences of that. But one of the key differences in particular, it is not core run by the facilitator, it is chaired by members. And so we currently have two co-chairs who are Ron Doyle from Pfizer and Joshua Fromson from AbbVie. So they're the ones who will essentially lead the discussions throughout everything that we do. So, so as a brief overview, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you will have come across a community of practice in your life in the industry, but just kind of explain what it is within BioPhorum. It is very much, let's say, it's a platform, it's a opportunity for people in the same the like-minded skills to work together and share their best practices, to discuss what's going on in the industry, discuss emerging trends, and really just to work together around in that space, whatever that community of practice is around, just to continue to, without the expectation of trying to create a deliverable, which is what a work stream is there to do. It is about simply sharing knowledge and learning from each other and developing each other. A community of practice is typically created when a work stream has completed everything it needs to do. It's run its course. It doesn't believe there's any more value in staying together to create more deliverables, but they do believe there's still value in staying together to have that shared knowledge, because you've got this group of experts in a particular field who have been working together for a number of time and can still share and work together. They are facilitator aided, as it says there, but they are particularly, say, entirely self-governed and shared. It is up to the members to decide what is discussed. It's up to the chairs to decide what's important, to run the meetings, to ultimately just make the whole thing flow. Like I said, the facilitators, myself, are there to aid the admin, make sure it runs smoothly, kind of organise things in the background for them. But it is very much about our members and their interests and what's important to them, and for them to allow to share their best practices, for them to present, for them to talk about what's important to them. So the Human Performance Community of Practice, this was formed as a work stream back in 2013. It was a very active work stream, and with various teams set over the years to create valuable publications in the space of human performance. The group was also incredibly active in just sharing their best practices, benchmarking against each other, sharing resources they've made, sharing resources that have been provided to them, using the Ask BioPhorum function, which obviously Caroline touched on earlier as well, about it's a valuable tool to pose questions and just probe the rest of the industry and yourself, so you can learn from each other. So all of that wealth of knowledge that was shared as well hasn't gone away. So this entire work stream's been around since 2013. It shared a lot, it created a lot. All of that still lives within the BioPhorum hub. So all of our members who are part of the Human Performance Group can access all of that historical resource, all of that historical knowledge. It all still sits there. For anyone joining new, you can go back and look at everything that's been created. So it's a valuable tool for anyone either in the midst of a human performance journey or looking to start a human performance program within your organization. All the tools that you should need to do that should be within this group. As I mentioned, the community of practice forms when it's no longer believes it's able to keep going. So it was in 2020, it was turned into a community of practice. And this allows them to continue sharing, as I say, those best practices, discussing trends, sharing resources. It's very much up to the members as well what is discussed. So it's routinely we'll ask our members what's important, what you want to talk about, and they'll put forward suggestions, and then collectively agree what we want to talk about. So recent topics have involved such as investigator training, human performance roles, human performance sponsors, deviation management, and more. Really, it very much just depends on what's important to them at the time and how much discussion we can really get from it. So as I mentioned, all that was created as a work stream is still available, so they still have access to all the information, and it's still very much there for anyone still joining today, and would still be able to access everything that exists. And so, but it's the community of practice. It doesn't necessarily mean the end of the work stream or the work being created. It is very much around it's keeping the experts together, and if at some point the group decides we believe there's a new deliverable we could work on, we believe this thing we created 10 years ago is out of date, we could update it, then if there's enough support in the group, then they will return to a work stream to go back to creating deliverables, creating content that is valuable in the space of that group. So over the number of years as well, it's been a great place for the organizations to connect and collaborate, and also to share presentations at various conferences as well as each other. And so some of the examples of that are here, which you can see on this table now. So these are, as you can see, there is quite a varied number of presentations that have been done by different companies at different conferences, and these have all been shared freely by the members. They're willing to go out there and put it out there and these are also available on the BioPhorum website. You can get access to these presentations if you're a member. So again, these are member-only content. So if you're a part of the BioPhorum Human Performance Group, you can see these. This is just a taste of what exists in there. There's again a wealth of other presentations that exist. There's also a number of publications that were done by the workstream and when it was active. These are all available on the BioPhorum website. So again, once you finish this, you'll have the presentation. You can follow these links, but all of these names are searchable on the website through BioPhorum. They're all downloadable. I say a couple of them are published externally, but the links are available there to take you to where you can download it. They're all still freely available to get. All of these have been, whilst you don't have quite the same numbers of the single-use systems downloads, obviously the space is a bit more niche and a bit more targeted, but I do know that those in this space find the tools that have been created exceptionally valuable, and the guides that I list here are very good at helping people set up a human performance program. But I think one of the biggest accomplishments, though, of the actual human performance workstream was the development of the human performance assessment tool, and that was done through collaboration with industries such as nuclear and aviation. So the tool is a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet which asks questions for companies or even individual sites to measure their uptake of human performance principles and score themselves against well-defined criteria. In the end, it gives area scores and overall scores so the user can determine where to focus efforts of future improvement. It's an extensive document. It's something that typically takes a site at least a whole day to go through, but those who've done it have found it very good at measuring their maturity and where they are within the human performance journey and where their site is. So again, that is available for our members. If you are to come join, it's something that you can download and utilize for the future. And this is just to list out, obviously, as well as the regular meetings that we do have as community of practice, we also have a number of other tools that exist on there. So benchmarking studies, case studies, previous investigations, training materials, reading lists, all of this exists on the hub within BioPhorum, should you be a member of the group. That was just really to give you a taste, because it's a community of practice. It is no longer active. It's not working on something currently. What it's working on this is what it's done before. So that's what we're trying to share. And so what we then do have, though, is also a short video now by one of our chairs talking about how the actual program has been adopted by AbbVie at their site. So give me one moment. We'll get this up. Okay, so hopefully that will just give you a flavour of how they were able to use the tools that were developed essentially by the Human Performance Group, and essentially that's what they managed to do to incorporate it. So with any luck, that's a flavour of what you could get by taking part in this. And then, so finally, if there are any final questions, please do email me if you have anything, and let me know if you're interested in joining. But without further ado, I'll hand you back over to Nicola for closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Sean, in the nick of time. Fantastic presentations. Thank you to the whole team. Please do, if you have any questions, any follow-ups from today, get in contact with any one of the team. And just the final slide here shows you we have our final workstream showcase session coming up start of December. It is open to register, and we hope to see you, if not at another showcase, at another BioPhorum workstream meeting very soon. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very good rest of the day.